Yep, I think it's time.
This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down.
Let's get a few clips of the condition that this thing's in right now, just so we can document what it looked like before the build. And then I want to go over a couple things that makes this one a little different than the last one I built. We're going to go over some of the differences in these two Honda ATC70s, and I'll put this one side by side so we can kind of go over what's different about these two. So let's start off with this one here is a 1985 model. This here is a 1973 model. So this is a 73 model. This is the first year that they made the ATC 70s. And at first, when you first see them, they look pretty similar. They're both really little, small mini three-wheelers, but this is actually a lot different. So first off, the tank is completely different on this. This actually has a completely different frame. The exhaust comes out of the middle back here. And this one here is designed for the exhaust to come out the side. These fenders, which I only have one out of the three, but these back fenders are actually individual. So there's one fender for each side. It doesn't go all the way across the back like this one here does. The seats are different. So they're a lot different. I don't know if the front ends are different on them. But anyways, this is a 1973 model. This is the first, I guess you could call it the first gen ATC 70. And we're going to tear this one down, rebuild it. I'd like to stay with the factory colors on this one and basically try to make it look stock. I think we will end up doing a aftermarket exhaust and, you know, a couple little things, but For the most part, I want to build this thing back to original. We're going to keep this motor on it, which I don't even know if it runs or not. I am pretty confident I can get it running. Even if I can't, I have a spare motor downstairs if the bottom end's messed up. If the bottom end is good, then, and it just runs like crap and it needs a top end rebuild, I'll probably put a big bore 88cc top end on it. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, I'll put a picture up, but these things from the factory have a super cool flame decal on the tank. And that was original. That's how they came back in 1973. Also, you might notice that the front end is silver. That is original as well. So it was orange frame, orange tank, silver front end. As far as the wheels go, I have the stock wheels off of this one that I plan on using. However, I do got a broken hub back here, and these 73 hubs are specific, so I don't know if a later model 70 hub will work. If I'll do a little looking into it, but I'll probably end up ordering a used ATC70, a first gen hub. I already looked on eBay. You can pick them up. They're pricey, but you can get them. So I'll probably end up ordering one of those. This rear end is completely different. This brake system is completely different. Yeah, let's start tearing this thing down. It's freezing in the garage. It's -4 out right now, and it's 40 degrees in the garage, so let's freeze our asses off a little bit and get the motor tore out of this thing. Once again, we're gonna bag and label all of our bolts. Man, that's a weird exhaust. Never taken anything off like that before. So it's got like a stud up here that had a nut on it. Back here there was a bolt that went all the way through it and then mounted on each side of the frame. Huh. Well, that's different. Well, that ain't good. Water? Yeah. That's gas. think I'm gonna go ahead and run some oil through this, and I might even fill it up with oil because, yeah, that's gasoline. So I'm assuming this thing might have been completely out of oil. Somebody was trying to get it running and flooded it, and it filled the crankcase up with fuel by soaking in past the rings. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna run some oil through it and maybe even fill it up with oil to try to dilute some of that gas in there. There's 2 plugs down there, and I took out both of them. There, we got some oil coming through. I put about half a quart of oil in, and I don't want to go no more than that just because I don't know if this motor leaks. I'm assuming it does since it's dirty, but I don't want it leaking all over the garage floor. Boo. Yeah.
We can't wait until Santa Claus comes down.
Oh. Look, I'm finally working on it. Remember, you wanted me to work on this?
We should keep it.
You think we should keep this one?
Yeah.
You don't want to sell it?
No.
Alright, we'll see. We might keep it. You gonna ride this in a couple of years when you're a little bigger? You want to ride this one in a couple of years when you're a little bigger?
Yeah.
Check this out. This is kind of weird. Never seen anything like that. The chain. Hold on, let me grab a light. The chain goes through the frame. Through the top there, and then comes out the bottom. That's weird. I've never seen anything like that. Alright guys, at this point, before we go any further, taking the rear axle out and all that good stuff, we need to address this right here. So this frame neck is bent pretty badly. So we're going to do the bottle jack trick, the bottle jack method of straightening this frame. Basically what we're going to do is take a measurement from the center of the front axle to the front side of the rear axle sleeve. And I'm not 100% sure if this is the same as the second gen, but the second gen model, it should be 34.5. And this one here was bent as well. I had to straighten that frame too. But I took a measurement and this frame's pretty bent, and I think my initial measurement was like 33.25. We got a ways to go to straighten that out, but I'm gonna go ahead and take it off the buckets, flip it over, and we'll get to work on straightening that frame. Yeah, it's like 33.25, so we got a good ways to go. Let me get my bottle jack and get set up here. Alright, well, quite the contraption we got going here. I tried doing the bottle jack trick, but this frame is a little bit different back there, and it just keeps wanting to slip off the board. So I got on Facebook and did a search and seen that a guy posted that he did something similar to this to straighten his 73 frame. So he used a board. I have my makeshift poor man's race ramp. I got a heavy duty ratchet strap. Tried to strap it down about in the middle of the frame, and then I got the bottle jack underneath the front there. So I'm gonna try jacking up on it and we'll see if we can straighten this frame. Oh yeah. Might have even went a little too far, but that should be fine. If you notice how the hubs broke, I'm assuming somebody probably was hitting it with a hammer trying to get it to come off. They look pretty rusted on there, so I'm gonna spray them down and let them soak for maybe an hour while coming back about every 15 minutes and hitting it again, and then we'll see if we can get it off. Shit. Alright, since that side's stuck, I think I'm going to try and use a puller to get this other side off. And then if I get that side off, maybe I'll be able to slide the whole thing out this way. And then I'll just take this side with me to work tomorrow and use the press to press that out.
Alright, here it is. Oops, sorry. Dad.
What?
What?
I'm just working on this.
Dad. Like my golf in the
Alright guys, well I managed to get the rear end pulled out of this thing the other night. Here's all the parts up here. I got everything bagged. This is the center chunk that goes in there. You got your sprocket on one side. Brake goes on this side. I did manage to get that hub off. I had to because apparently this axle only slides in one way, and I had to knock it through this way. So I had to get that off, and as you can see, I broke it. Ended up beating on it enough to where this slid back a little bit on the splines, and then I could get my puller on the inside of this and just pull it off. So we got that. However, I did mess the axle up a little bit beating on it. I probably should have put a nut on there and beat on the nut. I don't know if it would have saved it or not, but anyways, I got on eBay and somebody makes a chromoly axle that is this design. So I just went ahead and bought one of those, and it's on its way. So just about got it tore down all the way. I've got to pull the front end apart, obviously, and then as I was looking at this is for your turning stop. And as you can see, this post here is bent. So as soon as I don't know, I'll probably take this thing off first and see if I can knock that straight again. But yeah, we're gonna keep tearing it down. I got the upgraded steering stem bearings, just like I put in my last three-wheeler. So it changes, it gets away from using all those individual ball bearings. And this is more like a wheel bearing. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this off, and then we'll heat this up with the torch and hit it with the hammer a few times, see if we can straighten that out a little bit. I'm gonna call that good enough. I'll probably get in there with the Dremel, try to clean that up a little bit. But yeah, it's a lot straighter than what it was. It won't be as obvious anymore anyways. We got pretty much everything broke down and ready for powder coat. But as you've seen, this thing didn't come with any wheels. But I happen to have a set that I had on this one here. So I gotta break these down, get these ready for powder coat. It's pretty simple. This is a two-piece wheel, so you just got to take 3 of your bolts out, and then this rim actually splits into 2 separate pieces. So I gotta split these wheels, get the tires off, take the valve stems out, and then these will be ready for powder coat. So I'll go ahead and break one down on camera just so you can kind of see how it goes, and then I'm probably gonna take some of this stuff to the car wash, get it cleaned up, so when I take it in and they go to sandblast it, it's not filthy, oily, like that right there. So, all right, let's get these tires off these wheels. There's the front hub. There's the O-ring that goes in between them, in between the 2 pieces of the wheel.
Look at that.
Yeah. All right, there's one side.
What side? What side? What? Because I really like pockets and my dresses.
I know you like pockets. This is to loosen up the tire, so it comes off easier. there's the other one. All right, spray them. Good job.